This is Pat Soundbites Unplugged. Unplugged. The podcast where all the artists go to tell it as it is. Careers, music, tours, and more. And here's your host, the man that refuses to eat squid, Pat Calamari.
All right, Pat Calamari here, host of Pat Soundbites Unplugged podcast. Thanks for listening. Today is Friday, December 20th, 2019. Well, I got an opportunity yesterday to interview Mike Mostert. Mike Mostert and the GoGo Tuners family. You know, every once in a while you run into what I'll say a gem of an album. And I use that word as there are great albums out there, especially new music. This one is different. I'm a rock guy, I'm a blues guy. I mean, I love all kinds of music. Not really into the rap thing, but you can twist my arm. I get it. And yeah, I'm still fighting this cold, so if I sound a little stuffy. But this one, 9-track album that covers rock, it covers pop, it covers rhythm and blues, it covers jazz, it covers a little soul, it's got a little of everything. Now, Mike is a musician, he's a songwriter, he's a producer, he's an incredible guitar player, and he's the composer of this record. And as a producer, he has met numerous and has worked with numerous incredible musicians, which he talked to and said, hey, I'm thinking about putting this album out. Would you be interested in playing? And they all said yes in a heartbeat, which is great. Now, these are artists that I got to tell you, I'm not familiar with, but they are top-notch artists. Artists that are touring musicians. They've toured, some of them have toured with either Madonna, Prince, Jennifer Lopez, Bruno Mars, Britney Spears, Stevie Wonder, Ed Sheeran, just to name a few. So you're talking A players here, A-type players. We're not talking like B-liners or C-liners, or we're talking people that really have their act together. So Mike wrote these songs, got them together, fit them in with different songs, knew what he really wanted to, how the song wanted to sound. There are 2 or 3 really rock songs that are great, 2 instrumentals. They're both great songs, but totally different instrumentals. The song Go-Go Shred just is insane, kills it, where he goes with this. There's a pop, there's a R&B, there's a blues. It's all across the music genre. It's an incredible array of outstanding music. Again, Mike Mostert and the GoGo Tuners family. You go check that out. I'm going to start playing tracks this Sunday on the Pat Show on WBXO. So hopefully you listen. 5 p.m. starts Eastern Time. I encourage you to go and check this out. GoGo Tuners. And now Mike is also the CEO of GoGo Tuners, which is one of, if not the leading tuner company for guitar players in the industry. And he's got this device which is insane, just shows his creativity. As a musician, he knows what they need and what works. And he simplified it, but made it extra, I want to say, big font, so that the artist is looking down on the floor. He or she can see if their guitar is in tune or not. It's that digitally displayed, that big, but there's no distraction to the audience. And he also has a clip-on that goes onto the neck of the guitar, where again, the audience is not, it's not distracting the audience. But he's got it really simplified. The guy is he's short of a genius. He's covered the music industry from both ends of the table as a musician, and then he's been on the other side working for publications and management and labels, and now he's a CEO dealing with a fantastic product, and now he's letting out his musical creativity on songs that he wrote. And you got to check this out. This is really good stuff. A great chat with Mike yesterday. Again, Mike Mostert, Mostert, and the GoGo Tutors family. I encourage you to check this out, and I encourage you to buy it. If you're looking for something outside the box, and this guy hits it out of the park, you need to check out this album. If you like what I do, please share it. Tell your friends. Pat Soundbites Unplugged. I really appreciate it. I'm having a blast. Episode number 23. We are rocking and rolling. And certainly more to come. And you can listen to my show, The Pat Show, on WBXO 103.7 FM locally, or WBXOClassicRock.com from anywhere throughout the world. I am doing my best to keep new music alive on the radio airwaves. So that's about it. This happened yesterday. Mike Mostert and the GoGo Tutors family. Sit back and enjoy. And of course, live, love, and laugh a lot, because life is way too short. WBXO Classic Rock Redefined in conjunction with Pat Soundbites Unplugged podcast. Multi-talented musician, songwriter, producer. He's the CEO of the leading tuner company in the music industry. I don't even know where he finds time to get all this done. And he's an incredible guitar player, if I didn't mention that at all. Mike Mostert and the GoGo Tutors family. Mike, what's going on?
Oh, I think you know what's going on. I'm feeling some calamari today.
There you go. Well, if you like seafood, man, that is really cool. That's good. Well, Mike has put out a 9-track album that features artists and iconic musicians who have collectively won multiple Grammys and Dove Awards and sold millions of records. Some names you might not be familiar, but they have toured with superstars like Madonna and Prince and Jennifer Lopez, to name a few. Now, Mike, you're the CEO of this great tuner company, but in your heart, I take it, I know you're a musician. What was the idea? What was the concept behind getting all your family members, I should say, together and putting this pretty incredible album out?
Well, the concept behind the record was the whole GoGo tuner thing is quite, it's a different culture, and it took me a few years to actually realize it, but all our artists, there's a very close relationship with all the artists, and I really, truly, call it the family. And I'll get calls at 1 in the morning, 2 in the morning. We can talk about anything from music to their life, and I've gotten to know everybody so well on so many different levels, just not only musically. But there's such a deep friendship, and when I started to do this record, I said, well, let me just put it out there. I'm kind of curious, what these people want to play. And my original concept, I was just going to play guitar here and there on the tracks, on a couple of tracks. And I started going down the line of my artists, hey, do you want to play on it? And it was yes. It was a resounding yes, 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 yes. And by the time we got to the 5th or 6th person, they're like, well, do you want to write? I'm like, okay, well, then I think I'm going to write. And then I proceeded to run with that, and so I ended up writing or co-writing every song, and then I'm like, you know what, I'm going to, this is in my project, so I want to also produce it as well. And of course, he said, play guitar, so that's how that progression happened. And, and the concept of all the artists, what it was trying to accomplish was I guess would be not necessarily make people uncomfortable, but put artists where they're not normally heard. So like for instance, there's a track, I'll give you a great example of, say, like this metal instrumental in which I have the bass player from Spyro Gyra, so he's like the Latin Jaco Pastorius. You take the guitar player from Rad, the other guitar player from Ice-T's band, you take the Chicken Picking King, and you throw myself in there, and you put that all on one track. And what I was trying to do with them is not have necessarily a chicken picker make the song country or a metal guy make it, a different genre. Like, we have R&B tracks, we have all different genres. I just wanted to see what their take was on like a metal guy playing on an R&B track, or a Latin, rock guy playing on a blues track, or a country pop gal singing on a Janis Joplin song. So not necessarily changing it to what they're known for, but how they would actually approach that genre with their skill set.
Well, I think you did a great job, and for the listeners, this 9 tracks, Mike has like 3 or 4 songs that are great heavy metal rock songs that I'll say. And then I'll go to Not Giving Up, which I thought was more of I love that, I guess the slide, it was a blues, swampy Cajun sound. The vocalist, this Morgan Miles, I never even heard of, and I started spending 2 days looking her up, going, wow, you got the go-go shred, what you just mentioned, and I'll ask you a question in reference to that, and it starts out so slow with the great bass line, and then it just explodes, and my favorite part was the country end, that chicken picking thing, so it was really cool. You got Changing, which is a really groovy R&B. You got another instrumental like Windy Shoals, and I will say the album was also produced at Muscle Shoals in Alabama. You got a little soul, rhythm and blues and pop, a little jazz, I guess, with Taking My Heart. So this is a collaboration of many genres with great musicians that it just goes from all over the place, but I don't find a bad song in it at all. But before I jump all over the place, Mike, so talk to me about the songwriting process. Where did you draw the inspiration from?
Each one was really quite different. As far as like the hard rock tracks that you're listening on it, not the go-go shred, but the songs by the band In Theory.
Yes.
Originally, it was going to be like the go-go band. I was trying to actually create a band within the record, but it turned out to become a real band, and we called it In Theory. And a long, long time ago, I call it my previous life, I used to have the official rock helmet. I was signed to EMI in the early 90s. I knew I was not going to make it in music, and then I really just immersed myself in my businesses for the last many, many years. And my concept with those was, if I was going to write a hard rock record or a metal record today, how would I write it? And so what I did is, again, was different influences. I took a gospel keyboardist, and I took a blues bass player, and then a rock singer, and myself. And the singer's name's Tony Cabino, and he's just, he's off the hook. He's just this crazy, emotional, powerful singer, and put all 4 together. And of course, the drummer, even though he's known a little bit in the metal world, he's more of a funky drummer, and but it all works together.
Oh, it definitely worked. Did you think of the songs when you're writing them or putting it together? Would the folks that said yes, obviously I think that's what you're getting at, is I picked this guy, I picked that girl, I picked this for each individual song, because not everybody is on all the songs.
Right. Well, that's a process, and I think that still will be an ongoing process. There will be volumes probably 3 and 4. I mean, I still have about 125, 150 of our artists that want to do this record. The way scheduling was, and we just couldn't get to everybody. Just a matter of time to do it. And, it was sort of like what would fit. And, so like say the song with Morgan, I've played with her in the past, and I knew she had this Janis Joplin side to her. So I go, you know what? I'm going to write a blues song. And when you picked up on that swampy thing a little bit earlier, I do have a second, I do have a second location, and I live also in Muscle Shoals. And I really think this city and the mystique of the Tennessee River, and I'm not sure if you know the history of Muscle Shoals.
Oh yeah.
But but I really think it's influenced this New Yorker, California guy over here, because I'm not a slide player. And sure enough, I open the song with the slide, and I play slide with an acoustic on my lap with the battery.
Wow.
That's the slide part. So it's not even a traditional slide part. It's not even a slide. It's a AAA battery on my lap. And but I knew I was onto something, because down here in the South, people love to talk to you, and especially when you go to the drive-thrus and stuff like that. As I was working on the record and I'm playing some of these tracks, and it's and it's like this place down here is very much like Nashville. You never know if this guy who's cutting your lawn, or this guy who's at the drive-thru, or this person working at Walmart. Like, I could have 10 #1 hits, or this, there are all these like famous songwriters and legendary people down here. And when people hear the intro of that song, some of these old school blues guys were like, "Can you play it again? Can you play it again? Can you play?" But I knew I was onto something if the old school blues guys were really loving it. So I'm like, yeah, we have the right feel. We are actually able to capture that swampy feel.
I got that right away, and I said, listen to the slide. And then when Morgan, with her vocals, takes off, and then he had the guitar riff, I'm like, holy crap, man, that was really good. Let me go to, how difficult is it to write lyrics for songs that you're not going to sing, to get it interpreted to the Morgans or the Lanisha or anybody else that's out, or as you mentioned, Tony? How difficult is that to say, look, this is what I was thinking, you take it the way you would take it?
For some strange reason on this record, but believe it or not, this is actually the first time I even put myself in a role as co-lyricist or a lyricist. There's 2 or 3 songs where I wrote the lyrics, completely from start to finish. The best way I can say it is just what I was feeling, and I was just writing notes and notes and notes. I mean, I have so many pages and notebooks of just random thoughts, and I started just trying to put random thoughts together. What was going on in my life, new changes, new relationships, and that's the best way of describing it. And just like I said, I have notebooks and notebooks of just so many, phrases, and that's the best way of describing it. And, like the song with Morgan was a little bit different. When her and I wrote that song. Although, I was going through a difficult time, and she was going through a difficult time for different reasons, and we were just basically telling people,
don't give up.
We're not giving up. We're not giving. We're not letting go. We're giving up. So we're choosing to get rid of these toxic people or these things that are toxic in our life. So these other people don't control us. It's our choice. So that's what that song is about. So it's more of an empowerment, But if you listen to the way we set the verses, it's almost like you're the victim in a way. You're going through this emotional roller coaster. But the final tagline is, I'm not letting go. I'm giving up. I'm not giving up. It's our choice. So so that was that type of song. But all the other ones are, for some reason, a whole lot of loving going on.
Yeah, I mean, Taking My Heart and Lifting My Soul from the Taking My Heart track. I got to ask you, and I had the pleasure of meeting the great guitar player, the Texas great guitar player, Eric Johnson, who's known for a lot of instrumentals. How do you decide what makes, this song's going to be an instrumental and you're not going to add lyrics to it? You have the 2 here, the Go-Go Shred. They're both incredible. I like the Go-Go Shred a little bit better than I like Windy Shoals, but how do you go, you know what, we're just going to go with that? Is it from the heart, passion, that you said the feel of the song?
Well, that when I did Go-Go Shred, I knew from the beginning that one was going to be the instrumental. I was very conscious on this record that, because I have the pedigree and obviously the talent of all these people that are participating on the record. I could have easily what I call like the Chop City record, where everybody's showing off, all their skills and all their techniques, but I really want to make quality songs that can hold up whether these people were famous or whether they were the most amazing players or not. But with Go-Go Shred, I took a different approach where I was like, people know me as a former metal guy, and like, you know what? Let's do one song where we just blow the roof off from let's show off our chops type of song, and that's what I want to accomplish with that song. It's like, I feel a lot of times, or the reaction I get is people like when they hear that song, they're like, I want to play guitar. That song makes you feel like picking up my guitar and playing. But Windy Shoals was a completely different inspiration. And, like I said, I'm originally from New York, and in the last 20 years, I'm in California, and I still have a small place in Cali. But I recently moved to Muscle Shoals, and there's something really unique in the city. There's obviously a lot of tornadoes, a lot of hurricanes, a lot of storms. And there's something in here, Patrick, that when a storm is hitting your window, there's these sounds and noises that are hitting your window that I've never heard in my life.
Wow.
With Windy Shoals, I was able to capture that sound. And that's why I called the song Windy Shoals, and in Shoals and in the windstorm. I want to almost create like peace in the middle of a windstorm. I'm feeling calm, but the place is on literally 3 days ago we had a tornado. But you're in the storm, but it's very calm, and that's what I was trying to capture. There's a certain mood, and for me, the icing on that song is I was crossing over the Tennessee River coming back. I'm sure Tennessee River. Obviously, there's the whole story behind Tennessee River inspiring music all the way back to 1,000 years ago. So, with the Indians and the inspiration of music, and that's why I think there's been this magic here. But one time I was driving over the bridge as I was finishing that song, and it was at sunset. It was at 5:30 at night. The sun was setting down, and that song was coming on. And I go, yeah, that captures the feel of this place. So two different types of inspirations.
Yeah, the first time I listened to Windy Shoals, and my front porch is loaded. My wife loves wind chimes, and I got that feeling, but I really didn't understand the backstory, and you explained it to a T. Now I certainly get it. I got friends of mine that live down in Mobile, Alabama, and like you said, the tornadoes, and Oklahoma. You see people hear that the beginning before the storm comes, the train comes, the wind chimes start to go, and you get that little windy feeling. So I get it, man. I'm a lyric type of guy. I like to listen to the words and try to understand the stories behind the songs. And you're absolutely right, which is really crazy. I've been to Nashville a couple of times, and I'm overdue to get down here. So many folks from New York, but more from L.A. I mean, Nashville was such a country city when I used to go down there, the whole Earl Tubbs and Hank Williams Sr. And now today, when I talk to artists from L.A., I mean, rock stars, everybody lives in Nashville. The songwriting capital of the world. Everybody's gravitating to that place to get away from the crazy city life to broaden the horizon and meet new songwriters and get more inspiration here and there, which I thought was really mind-blowing when I talked to somebody and they go, yeah, no, I'm down in Nashville. So for you to go the next step, that's pretty cool. I think your probably next album is going to even come out maybe more bluesy because of that whole Delta blues that I just got to hang out with Billy Gibbons not too long ago and we became pretty good friends. And let me tell you, there's no better guy than that guy, and I shake my head and pinch myself every time I talk to Billy. That how he goes back into the blues and the albums of the '50s of the Muddy Waters and John T. Hookers and all that. And I was always
actually Muscle Shoals is a lot of people don't realize it, but it is. Well, there's obviously debate of where obviously blues came from. But there's W.C. Handy and Peanut Montgomery, and those were the guys that actually structured the 1-4-5 of the blues. And so there's a lot of museums that actually this is sort of like, considered in a lot of, in a lot of people's eyes, the origination of the blues. And so yeah, the 145 was created here.
That's crazy. That's pretty good stuff. I mean, I've been fortunate to get down to New Orleans and listen and take on that culture, and then I've been fortunate to get up to Chicago. And I was always a rock guy growing up in the '70s. The Aerosmith, the Zeppelin, and I've always wanted to get into this side of the business. And my story is crazy. I retired from emergency services and communications that way, and now I've been living my dream for the last 5 years, as I said, now in a radio station that I create my own playlist, which is a rarity, hanging out with the Alice Coopers, the Billy Gibbons, and all the bands with new music, trying to keep new music alive on the radio airwaves. So I get it. Now, I'm not a musician, but I really have a different perspective of the whole thing. Meeting, Joe Walsh, having dinner with Joe Walsh and talking to him about his career and, drummers and the physical and exertion behind playing. I want to hear Freebird, and I talked to Michael Cardelloni and Leonard Skinner, and that's a 15-minute marathon, So I got a whole different concept on the life in the world of the music industry. And like you said before, New York to California, you started out as a musician, but you really turned to the other side of the table into the industry. You were involved, if I read Sam Ash and other publications and stuff like that. You have a degree in that type, and then you get into the whole tuning stuff, which is really cool. So good for you, man. I guess one of the go ahead, Mike.
Well, it's funny. What I got to do this weekend was quite amazing. We did some acoustic stuff this weekend. The speaker came down from New York, and I had the cellist who played on the GoGo record. But I also we brought in the legendary Swampers. You know who the Swampers are?
Yes.
And we were able to bring in Spooner Oldham.
Wow.
So to actually play with Spooner Oldham, and I rewrote "Can't Find My Way." That's on the GoGo record. And it's obviously a very heavy track, and I just turned that song inside out, and I made it into. Now it's really swampy and it's haunting, but to play that with Spooner, original Swamper, he's that one of the original guys, and a lot of people don't realize it except the music industry people, but Spooner was the guy who made the sound. I mean, he created Aretha Franklin sound. When a Man Loves a Woman, that's Spooner.
Nice.
Wilson Pickett. I mean, it's thousands and thousands of records that this guy who's played on legendary records. So to have him, to be on a record, or just not even necessarily, but we have a video and recording of it. But the recording came out so well, we're actually putting out B-sides of this session. That was quite an experience. If anybody knows the history of the Swampers, and that was just quite an amazing experience.
Well, I'm certainly looking forward to the follow-up, Mike, and you're on a great path here. That I don't think anybody, I can't say that nobody's ever tried, but having, saying, hey, let's do this, and you got the people that want to do it, and you put it all together, and I love every song about it, and I'm looking forward to supporting you and the album, and looking forward to a follow-up. Is there, I guess, logistically and the challenges behind it to go out and maybe do some shows of, you got so many multiple artists. Is there any thought of that, or it just maybe can't happen? Or maybe you will?
No, it'll definitely happen. We've been approached in several different ways. We've been approached as far as the hard rock band, which is called the In Theory band. We've been approached for that, for doing festivals as this new up and coming hard rock band. But we've also been approached to almost make the GoGo Tuner record sort of like a show, and take the people through an adventure of going from a rock song to a blues song to a pop song, and essentially taking them through the story of the record. And that was one of the things that when I was, even the sequence of the records, that was quite important to me. It was like an old school, I felt like old school Beatle record where you can have, Helter Skelter, and you can have Strawberry Fields, or come together all on the same record, but it makes sense. If you heard Helter Skelter by itself, you think, oh, it's a little bit of a heavier band. But if you heard Yesterday by itself, you would think that would be on, channel 14 on XM. That's a great acoustic pop, ballad.
Right.
And, so I was it was so deliberate on the sequence. And if I changed one song out of sequence, the feel of the record wasn't the same anymore. And that was so important to me. So like how I viewed the entire record was like it's like a book or a novel, and every song is a chapter in that book, and you have to listen to it from start to finish. Just like you would read a book. You have to read all the chapters to understand the full story, and that's what I was trying to get the listener to. That's the adventure I was trying to take the listener through this record.
Well, I encourage everybody to buy it because it is certainly different, but it's definitely out of the park. As Mike mentioned, as I mentioned too, hard rock songs. There's a couple instrumentals. I mean, Go-Go Shred is just simply amazing. I mean, I played it. I think I blew my eardrums out when it just went to the heavy drums to the guitar, and then it just explodes. And then it did the heavy jam, and then the little fine country ending. I thought was really, really cool. I like the songs that like a train, just start out slow and just take off. And then they, go down, and then they take off again. You think the song is over, and then all of a sudden there's something else there. There's a little pop, there's a little R&B. I love the blues.
Well, even on that metal track, the very first song I record, "I Can't Find My Way," if you hear if you get to the end, it's getting heavier. I mean, it's crescendoing, it's getting heavier. I have like the D2 guitars going bum, 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 bum. And then we end it just with a gospel keyboards by itself.
That's crazy. That's great.
Gospel piano. And that, again, I was very deliberate on that. Like, usually, when you put a keyboard in that type of band, a hard rock band, a metal band, it's typically more like, I think like a Deep Purple, it's a very, sometimes, like going through a distortion, it's, like a very heavy.
Right.
But I was very, I wanted to keep the gospel feel on a hard rock metal track. And I think we were able to do that. And I feel like, we took the listeners through a little bit twist. I mean, even the opening of the record, you hear the vinyl skipping.
Okay, yes.
Right? But these days, there's actually software, right, where you can actually have the vinyl skipping. You can create a program. But in the studio, they actually had an old record player, and we put 3 mics on it, so that actually is a real record skipping. And then we go into the song, and then we end it, like I said, with the gospel piano. And so it's like, I think it's quite unique, the adventure. And if you listen to like the little nuances of each song, there's all these little twists that we're putting in there sonically.
Now, the creativity is amazing, and it's funny that you said that because I'm looking at the pictures, and I see the turntable with the vinyl on it, Mike Mostert and the Go-Go Tuner family drop spot. And I'm thinking of you putting the stylus on, putting the needle on the record when it first started. I'm like, okay, I can get that. It's like, okay, here we go. But I felt like it was a needle going on an album to start playing. And I'm thinking, wow, that's a little bit different to start. But I'm happy you explained that. That's pretty cool. It can be found on all the... obviously, all the stream, the iTunes, Amazon, Google Play, Spotify, all the down streaming events there, Mike, all the outlets, the record.
Yep, you can get it on all the platforms, all the digital platforms. And we will be releasing a physical copy. I'm doing a limited orange. It's also known as the Orange Tuner Company.
Oh, nice.
So we're gonna do a limited edition physical record, where like I said, the CD will be in orange, and we're gonna add a couple of bonus tracks. And obviously, there'll be a lot more liner notes involved, but yeah, we're gonna add a couple of probably two bonus tracks, and one is actually one that we recorded with Spooner from the Swampers. So yeah, that'll be something a little bit different that you can't just download.
There you go. Good. Excellent. I always tell people to buy. The musicians are not making any money with the whole downstreaming BS. And the Go-Go tuners, green you're in and red you're out. I mean, I'm not a musician, Mike, but what I see out of it is it's really big. So when you're standing up and you're looking, I guess, to tune your guitar, you know that it's done or it's not done compared to, I guess, other options that are out there that maybe you can't see it, that you really got to look down. Am I right with that?
You're 100% accurate. In fact, like on the chicken picking song, we have his name is Johnny Hyland, and he's probably one of the best guitar players on the planet. And he's the chicken picking king. But he's legally blind, and he can see my tuner.
That's great.
But there was two big concepts behind the tuner. And obviously, it's the biggest screen on the planet. I always make a joke. It's the only tuner that you can see, from the space station. And it's a little bit obviously an exaggeration, but you can see the screen from about 100 feet away. And another big thing is that you can see the screen in direct sunlight. And if you're a working musician, and you know how many, there's so many day gigs and festival gigs, and that was one of the biggest complaints. They can't see the screen.
Wow.
And then the other thing that I wanted to do was, I think I would say our competitors or other brands, I think they were overthinking what a tuner should be. That some were having, you can do this function, that function, and you could tune up 6 strings, you could have 12 strings, you could do you name it. They were doing every single function in it. And my concept was like, no, the tuner should just be simple. People are not interested in all the functions. People come into your show to listen to you play guitar, not to watch you tune.
Right.
So my product was, how can I get them in tune fast, and how can it be easy for them to see it? And also, since it's so big, as you know, a lot of singers or people are speaking or have a rapport in between songs when they're talking to their audience.
Right.
And most pedal tuners, you have to look down, or you even have to scrunch down to see if you're being in tune or if you're in the right mode. But with mine, you can, even from your peripheral vision, you can still talk to the audience. You're not losing any momentum in your performance, because you can see if you're in or out while you're tuning, and look at the audience and still talk. And we've gotten so many compliments from especially from the singers who love to talk in between songs, that they're able to still tune and talk at the same time.
Yeah, no, and I see you can attach it to the guitar, so you don't even have to look down. So when you're even talking to the crowd and you're looking at the neck of the guitar, I guess you could attach it. You're right there. So you're not losing any, like you said, momentum to the show, going, hold on a minute, let me do this, let me do that, or, just BSing just to try to keep something saying while people are anxious for the next song.
And that's on our clip-on version. And our clip-on is a little bit different than our pedal. And again, our clip-on is still the largest screen clip-on. But the way I designed it is, since it's so big, and people actually on the guitar headstock, they want a smaller clip-on. So what I did is I designed it where it could be what they call like a back of the headstock tuner. So the audience will only see the clip, but the artist will see the screen.
Nice.
And I have it where you can actually like Gumby the tuner in any position. So you can pull it out 1.5 inches. You can turn it 360 degrees and anyway, so you can always see it. And then I added one extra feature set that's, again, very unique to us, is so the tuner itself is glowing orange when you add a tune. So even, again, peripheral vision, if you look at the corner of your eye and that thing is glowing, you're out of tune. And then once you're in tune, the whole casing stops glowing and it goes from red to green. So you have 2 ways, again, just looking at the corner of your eye to know if you're in or out.
It's all about the sound. I see more and more. I'm locally to Darryl Hall's club here in New York, and Pete is a great sound guy. I've been with Hall Notes for years. I mean, one of the best sound guys in the business. And I go to different venues, and I see more and more independent artists coming in with their own sound person. It's all about the sound. I mean, nobody wants to hear it too loud. Nobody wants to hear it out of tune, and or it was a crappy show. I mean, that's the bottom line of the product. So, yeah, I mean, and you thought about all of that. You got to be a busy guy, probably at NAMM, whether it's in Anaheim or Nashville.
I'm a little too busy. but I think that I chose that life, and I think I love that life. And I always, my philosophy is when it's not busy, it's a problem. So I think I purposely make it way too busy for myself. But I just enjoy just accomplishing things and doing things, and I just enjoy it. In everything, just accomplishing things, and the end results, being creative, and all together. Doing all that. It's just very satisfying to me.
Well, good for you, my man. Good for you. Hey, it's Mike Mostert and the GoGo Tuners family. I'm going to be playing the crap out of it on my show. I support you, buddy. All the best success. I am definitely looking forward to a follow-up to this. In any way that I can help you, by all means, don't hesitate to reach out. I hope you enjoyed the chat as much as I have, Mike.
I love it. I appreciate your time and support, and turn the radio up, and I love that you support independent music. And it's just, it's getting harder and harder to find, like you said, up and coming brand new music that could be exciting that people are missing on. So I appreciate there's people like you supporting, that cause.
Keeping new music alive on the radio airwaves. That's what I say every Sunday, and I do my best, whether it's for the national guys or somebody just starting in the business. I love being able to do my thing. And but I also do, Mike, to take it another step. You'll love this one. I came up with a dice game. So I go to your show, and you roll 5 dice, and if you roll a 5 of a kind, totaling in 3 rolls, I play your entire new album on my radio show.
Oh, well, there you go.
And I videotape it, and everybody that's got a new album goes, I got your tickets, we're going backstage, we're rolling the dice. I never thought I'd be the New York dice guy, but you know what? Whatever works to get the new music out there.
I think I'm going to come there and roll some dice.
There you go, Mike. You got to get to New York, or I got to get to Alabama, or you got to let me know when you're on tour and we get you to roll the dice. Best success.
Sounds like fun.
It's a blast. It takes a minute of everybody's time, and everybody has done it. Alice, Billy Gibbons, Billy pulled out his own dice. All the bands, I mean, from Cheap Trick to Night Ranger to Three Doors Down. I mean, I'm living my dream. I pinch myself every day going, I'm just fortunate to be able to do what I do, and I'm glad to do it. So, best holidays and much success for 2020, my man.
And you too. I appreciate all the support. Thank you.
Okay, Mike. Mike Mostert and the GoGo Tuners family on WBXO. We are classic rock, and we are redefined.